Good day. New York City Mayor Eric Adams and Commissioner Kim of New York City Small Business Services announced an funding opportunity for small businesses. It's for recovery after the pandemic, and it's a huge opportunity in order to help uh, get the city going again. At the end of the video, I will just show you the application and how to get to the application for anyone who wants to apply. They say it's for people who want to start, grow, or expand their business. I'll also put the links so you can have it. Private public partnership with uh, the New York City in order to the federal government, lending institutions in order to help. So let's see what they have to say.
For this very exciting historic announcement about how this administration just continues to get stuff done for small businesses of New York City. Before we begin, I want to just acknowledge some of the people here without whom this day would not have been possible. And of course, I want to begin with my sincere appreciation for Mayor Eric Adams, who will be joining us shortly, and Deputy Mayor Maria Torres Springer, who has been the architect for the mayor's economic blueprint. It's their extraordinary vision and leadership to rebuild, renew, reinvent our city's economy. So I wanted to really thank them for allowing us to have this moment today to announce yet another initiative that we're delivering for the city of New York. I also want to recognize our elected officials, Councilmember Julie Menon, Chair of the Small Business Committee, and Councilmember Pierina Sanchez, a champion of small businesses right here in her District 14. I don't know if she's here yet. I don't think she's on her way. I really want to thank Christine No for opening up her store to us. You see that? Yes, please.
This is something Mayor Eric Adams uh, made sure he is doing in his administration as far as going out to the community. They're in the Bronx. The former administration, Mayor de Blasio, at the end, during COVID, and most of his time he really didn't travel around the city. He would do his press conferences in city hall. So Mayor Eric Adams is making sure he goes out and he touches the different neighborhoods and the people in the neighborhoods. So that's something I just wanted to point out.
I can't wait to hear her personal journey, which she'll share with you in a little bit. If you look at that wall of sneakers, though, and you have a teenager like I do, don't bring them in here because no, just kidding. We want to support small businesses, but today really would not have been possible without our many partners here, and I want to quickly acknowledge them. Some of whom will also be speaking later, but the team from Goldman Sachs, Mastercard, the Community Reinvestment Fund, our 8 community development partners, Accompany Capital, Ascendus, BOC Capital, Harlem Entrepreneurial Fund, NDC Community Impact Loan Fund, Pursuit, Renaissance EDC, and True Fund. And if that list was long, there's a purpose for that. We intentionally wanted to make sure that we were working hand in hand with the partners who deeply reached out to historically underserved communities. So I want to thank them for also being part of this amazing launch. And finally, last but not least, I want to thank the many chambers of commerce, the merchant associations, and the community and business leaders who've joined us today. You have always been and will continue to be our great partners in all of our outreach efforts. So thank you as well. Now, you're going to be hearing from some of them, but in the meantime, I'd just like to share a little bit about what today means. In a city like New York, small businesses don't just fuel our economy, they define our culture and, like Noble, anchor our communities. That's why at SBS we work every day to help family businesses like Noble launch, grow, and thrive. And from day one of his administration, Mayor Adams has made it unwaveringly clear small businesses will lead our economic recovery forward. Over the last year, we've made a real impact, delivering on the vision laid out in the mayor's economic blueprint by slashing through regulatory red tape, creating a team of small business advocates and advisors called NYC Best to speed up licensing and permitting and help businesses avoid violations. It's about educating, not punishing. And these are just a few of the accomplishments we've created in 2022. Today's announcement will add fuel to our recovery by addressing a major challenge for businesses right now: equitable access to affordable financing. Starting today, New York City entrepreneurs will be able to apply for low interest loans from the New York City Small Business Opportunity Fund, a $75 million public private initiative, the largest fund of its kind in city history, directed just to small businesses. I want to thank our partners at Goldman Sachs, including those at the Foundation, the Urban Investment Group, and 1 Million Black Women, for investing $50 million in capital to this fund. Thank you. But in addition to the money, they've been great partners in making it as simple as possible for business owners to then access this capital. We know too often that entrenched impacts of financial discrimination keep businesses from getting the help they need. And that's why I'm proud that this fund opens with a diverse coalition of the 8 community development financial institutions, the CDFIs that I listed earlier, that will help local small businesses with one-on-one assistance to apply for this loan. Thanks to a grant from MasterCard Center for Inclusive Growth, our close partner for many years, we will be able to expand our technical assistance and outreach to help every business in every neighborhood. Now, before I turn it over to Mayor Adams, I want to highlight the work of another team, another very special team that often does not get much of the spotlight. And that's the members of our SBS Capital Access team who work tirelessly. If you could just raise your hands in the crowd, you truly deserve today's acknowledgement. And immediately following today's announcement, I will join fellow SBSers along with volunteers from the city's Community Affairs Unit and the Public Engagement Unit to go door to door right here in the Bronx to start spreading the word about this fund and all of SBS's free services. Our mobile unit outside, Moby, who we affectionately call Moby, will be driving around the borough today as well, getting the message out. And we'll continue our on-the-ground outreach across the 5 boroughs with workshops and materials in more than 20 languages to explain how to get started. Thank you again for all being here. This is how we move our recovery forward. Now I want to turn it over to our Get Stuff Done and City of Yes Mayor, Eric Adams.
Thank you. And, this is really a subterfuge to get the media up here so you could come and spend some money in the store, buy something. Buy something. Now, really excited what Commissioner Kim and his team over at SBS are continuing to do for our city. It's about the recovery during the pandemic. I remember watching small businesses remain open, and many women and minority-owned businesses did not close. They did not go away from the needs of the city, providing those basic needs. You cannot telework if you are delivering food products, healthcare products, and some of the other basic supplies. They remain open, and we are forever in debt to them. Today, we are doing a down payment on that debt with $75 million to small businesses with loans up to $250,000 with 4% interest. And not only that, I stated this on my campaign, it's about local CDFIs. They are real heroes that have been underfunded, never really received the support that they deserve. They're doing more than just lending. they are actually engaging with businesses to give them the help that they need as they continue to forever pursue what we call the American dream. Nothing personifies that dream more than being able to open your small shop, watch that shop grow and expand and continue to employ locally. Small businesses will hire from the community. So many young people get their part time or full time jobs by working in a small business. And it allows you to interact and understand the needs of those who live in your community, particularly here in the borough of the Bronx, where we are struggling with not only the high level of crime with young people, not having a real pathway to assist these young people. Small businesses would give them the opportunity to do so, but also dealing with the opportunities of really being part of the evolution that is happening here in the borough of the Bronx. And so, Commissioner Kim and Deputy Mayor Maria Torres Springer, we were focused on small businesses. The Deputy Mayor started at the beginning of the year going into our agencies, looking at so many of the policies we had were outdated. They were punitive. We looked at over 100 different policies and rules and really changed many of them. Had a cure period. Some of them we removed altogether. We were just really creative about how do we deal with making sure that small businesses were able to flourish and grow in our city. And so we look at potentially 1,500 small businesses will receive these loans and opportunities to help really allow these businesses to grow in a manner which we believe they can. They were asking for help. They were asking for a lifeline, but we heard them. We heard them and we responded accordingly. And it's the pillar of our community. People talk about small businesses are the backbone of our community, but we need to stop breaking their backs and we need to start giving them the support they deserve. And I strongly believe that. And that is why we brought a commissioner on board. Yes, he's the first Korean American to be the commissioner of small business services, but he's more than that. A narrative of his life, his parents coming here, going door to door, selling plastic flowers, staying up at night, being a partner, and eventually learning how to run their own small business. He knows what small businesses are going through because he saw it from his kitchen table. And that is why he's going to make sure that our small businesses today are going to give the support that they deserve. But we can't do it alone. This administration, we're so proud of the relationships we're having with our corporate entities. I hear over and over again from corporate America stating that they see a mayor and an administration that is open to see the public-private partnership. They have invested in our communities and have been demonized for so many years, but not under this administration. And I just have to say thank you to Goldman Sachs, MasterCard Center for Inclusive Growth, Community and Reinvestment Fund, and local community development financial institution. But our two large giants here, Goldman Sachs and MasterCard, they're continuing to invest in the city, and we are really excited about their partnership. And we want to thank them over and over again for what they have done, what they are doing, and what they are going to do in the future. The Opportunity Fund is the next great step forward in our city's partnership with our entrepreneurs and small businesses. And I want to tell all of our small businesses, New York City is here for you, and we're going to continue to listen to you as we remove those barriers to your pursuit of the American dream. And so apply, but I think, Commissioner, you said it best. We have been successful in getting resources for the people of this city. If it's earned income tax credit, if it's child care, if it's how we improve education for our children, if it's so many things, We got it. Now they have to get it. And they don't get it by us remaining in the ivory tower of City Hall. It's about getting on the ground, knocking on doors, interviewing, speaking in all the languages of New York and say, here's what's available for you. We send too much money back to the federal government, too much money back to the state, because people don't know how to navigate the challenging bureaucracy of government, because we have a monolithic approach to a group of a city where diversity is our secret weapon, and we're going to speak with people in a language they understand to say this money is available. Let's get access to it. Let's help your small business. Good job, Commissioner. Great job, Deputy Mayor, and thank you to our partners.
So the mayor mentioned the CDFI. I just wanted to let you know a little bit more about the CDFI. And you can go to their website. I will put the link there where you can actually find out about it. Different financial entities who they become certified in order to loan this money, so you can see more about it, and I'll put that in the links.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And now I'd like to bring up Asahi Pompey from Goldman Sachs. She's the Global Head of Corporate Engagement and President of the Goldman Sachs Foundation and our key partner in this fund. Asahi?
I want to say thank you, Commissioner Kim. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
It is a real gift to be with you all today in the Bronx at Noble. This business was built by 2 generations of entrepreneurs. Christine, who you'll hear from shortly, grew up in this very store. I think we can all acknowledge that the footprint, pun intended, that she and her family have made is anything but small. Goldman Sachs is proud to stand together here today with Mayor Adams and Commissioner Kim and all of our partners to launch this historic fund. We take our responsibility to help build and sustain the economic strength of New York City seriously. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Goldman Sachs knows a good investment when we see one. And that's the reason that we are committing our capital, both our commercial capital and our philanthropic capital, to meet the needs of New York City's small businesses. Here's a fact that I want every single person here to know. Over the last 3 years, Goldman Sachs has conducted over 15 surveys on the state of small businesses in America. These are surveys where business owners like Christine share a number of things. What are the challenges that they're facing in terms of hiring and retention? What are their capital needs? What's the support, as Mayor Adams mentioned, that they need from both the public and the private sector? In short, their most critical needs for growth and sometimes, let's face it, survival. In short, time and time again, our surveys find that flexible capital is what they need. That is their consistent challenge, especially business owners of color. Now, I took a look at our 2022 data, and here's what it shows. Nearly 50% of Black business owners plan to take out a loan. But here's the thing. Only 19% of them are very confident in their ability to access that much needed capital. So what does that mean? Need high, confidence low. That's what we're here to address today. Here's the thing. I know that time and time again, when we talk about all this data, it can seem quite academic, right? Theoretical. So practically speaking, what does this all mean? What are the kinds of opportunity gaps that $75 million in affordable, flexible capital, what can that do for small businesses in New York City? Imagine this, a relatively new accounting business in the Bronx that can finally take on those 3 new clients because they're able to get that top of the line software they've been meaning to get. Imagine a previously self-funded hair salon in Brooklyn that can finally increase their marketing spend by 50% to generate new leads and new clients. And imagine this, a 41-year-old Brooklyn, a 41-year-old business, family owned in the Bronx, happens to be a streetwear, footwear business that despite the supply chain challenges can retain their employees. We're talking about real people, real businesses, real New Yorkers accessing revenues for growth. In addition to Mayor Adams and his administration, this work would not happen today without our CDFI partners, partners like the Community Reinvestment Fund. As Mayor Adams mentioned, these CDFIs are deeply embedded in our communities. They understand what it means to meet business owners where they are, give them the support that they need, and help them to unlock their potential. So I want to say to each of our 8 CDFI partners that are here with us today, a huge thank you, thank you, thank you. It is truly and genuinely an honor for Goldman Sachs to stand with everyone here today in support of small businesses. Small businesses, as we all know, who are the fabric of this beautiful, brilliant, majestic city that welcomed me to its arms as a 10-year-old so many years ago. So I want to say thank you so very much.
Thank you, Asahi. This fund really does prove when we create a powerful public-private partnership, we can truly make a difference for all New Yorkers. Please now welcome Jody Barnett, Head of Global Cities and Urban Mobility at MasterCard, to share a few words.
Thank you, Commissioner Kim, and good afternoon, everybody. I am Jody Barnett, Head of Global Cities and Urban Mobility at MasterCard, and it is our absolute honor to be here today to play a role in supporting the New York City Loan Fund. I just have to say, I mean, we've talked a lot about it here this morning, but we all recognize how crucially important the small businesses are to our community and to the fabric of our cities. And we also know that they continue to face so many challenges, that they continue to deal with the effects of the pandemic, that we think about things like staffing. We think about things like the continued inflation that everybody is dealing with. And so, you know, it really hits home when you say, well, what about access to funding? And I know we've also talked a lot about stats here this afternoon. But, you know, according to a U.S. Federal Reserve study, we found out as we look at that only 50% of those who are running a small business owner of color, were approved for business loans last year compared to white small business owners. And so, and these are folks, by the way, who have the same credit score. So when you look at a stat like that, you say, well, wait a minute. How can we start to lean into our public and private partnerships to make a difference here? And that's really what we're doing today. And in doing so, we've talked a lot to small business owners to really understand, you know, what are the things that are critical to your success? And we obviously know that getting access to capital is one of them. And we are working very hard to increase capacity with the CDFIs and the community banks and the credit unions in order to make sure that they have access to affordable financing. But in addition to that, we also know that going digital is a major part of being in a small business community today, and not just getting online, but thriving online. And so we've developed programs to help small businesses tackle things like marketing, to tackle things like shipping, to tackle things like cybersecurity solutions so that they can become fully digital.
And these are real issues for businesses, for small businesses. So they're not only have this funding, these loans available, but they're also giving support resources. Commissioner Kim spoke about the Chamber of Commerce's. When I started business, Chamber of Commerce, the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce was an essential tool for networking. I know they have mentoring now. To hear from other professionals, to learn more about resources. So there's more than just the loans that I see here
As well. And then the last thing that we know from small businesses is that it is about access to a network. And so it's our ability to work with associations like the Small Business Association in order to really be in the community and to help make a difference and help promote throughout the network. Last fall, we at MasterCard launched a program called Strive USA, in which we made a commitment to support 5 million businesses across the United States, again, with how we are able to increase capacity within the small business funding area. And we will continue to work tirelessly to do that. I want to thank the City of New York for being such an incredible partner, not only through these efforts, but through our larger efforts for our In Solidarity Pledge, a pledge that we made 3 years ago to support the improvement within the Black community, within our own organization. And really working tirelessly with us to develop programs in which we can expand our outreach, make sure that the small businesses have what they need to be successful and to thrive. And so with that, I once again want to thank, of course, Mayor Adams, thank you, Deputy Mayor Maria Torres Springer, and Commissioner Kim for their continued leadership in this effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jody, and thank you again to MasterCard for all your partnership over the years. Having a truly diverse network of CDFIs is one of the factors that does make this fund so special. And so we're lucky to have Yankee Sharing, Executive Director at Accompany Capital, to share a few words on behalf of the entire CDFI network. Yankee?
So good afternoon, everyone. And it's such an honor to be here with my fellow CDFIs to applaud and thank Mayor Eric Adams, Goldman Sachs, and MasterCard, because this initiative, public and private initiative, will enable us CDFIs who are used to working really hard to make an additional $75 million in loans to small businesses. The CDFIs that are represented here, Ascendus, and I'm going to have you wave because, you know, not all of us could speak. And I think very important, they do incredible work, Ascendus, and so does Bach Capital Corporation, represented here by Nancy, NDC Community Impact Loan Fund, Harlem Entrepreneurial Fund, Pursuit, Renaissance, and I know Jesse is here representing Renaissance Economic Development Corporation, and James is here representing True Fund, and us, Accompany Capital. So we serve a wide range of clients and have dispersed over the last 3 years during the pandemic, $763 million in loans. So yeah, thank you. And we are very, very diverse in mission. Some of us provide statewide services like Pursuit. Some are focused on specific geographic areas, and some have specialized products tailored to specific clients and specific sectors. But what we all share is a mission to provide credit to entrepreneurs who are starting, growing, or expanding a business. And we offer business counseling, training in many languages represented in New York City's diverse communities. I know this is something Mayor Adams mentioned earlier, and it's something that SPS is very aware of. And I think we have materials in over 12 different languages. Sherry, or how many? 21 different languages. Okay. So CDFIs have actually, in fact, been appropriately called first responders for economic development, particularly given how from day one of the pandemic, CDFI stepped up to provide loans and numerous forms of COVID-19 relief for our clients and for others too. We stepped up because the federal government asked us to step up, like the small business services. We've made millions and millions of dollars in PPP loans, and these were primarily for small mom and pop businesses. So all of us here today share a common sense of purpose. Our support for small businesses, particularly in underserved communities, has impact beyond the loans that we make to the business owners because it creates jobs, provides critical services to members of the communities, and helps create vibrant and safe neighborhoods. And I know safety is a big concern during and after the pandemic, and businesses provide that. I mean, just look at this beautiful business. We're going to hear from Christine in a little while. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, for this important initiative. We hope your office will continue to include CDFIs in future discussions, because we would definitely like to continue to have a seat at the table. And we want to continue to support more and more businesses and communities in important and meaningful ways. So as we move forward, we also look forward to continue to working with Sherry Lane and her team at Small Business Services. And you've heard this, there's another CDFI that is very involved with this project, Community Reinvestment Fund. I think we had a team flying from Minneapolis today to be at this event. So Community Reinvestment Fund is also a CDFI, and they will be acting as the program's fund administrator. So as we move forward, we'll focus on all the 8 CDFIs mentioned here, and I guess 9 if we include Community Reinvestment Fund. We'll continue to provide loans to help more and more enterprising New Yorkers to start, grow, and expand their businesses. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yankee. Now I'd like to bring up the generous small business owner who opened her doors to all of us today, Christine No.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and happy Lunar New Year. Oh yeah, I'm short. Sorry. So I'd like to start by thanking Mayor Adams, Commissioner Kim, Deputy Mayor Torres Springer, Goldman Sachs, MasterCard, and the many CDFIs here today that helped make everything possible. My name is Christine No, and I have the honor of hosting today's historic announcement, as well as welcoming you all to my childhood home. I am the owner of Noble, a sneaker and streetwear retailer with 3 locations in New York City. Today, Noble represents the more than 200,000 small businesses that make sure we remain the city that never sleeps. But the small business community needs support from our leaders to do so. It's no surprise that the last few years have been tremendously challenging to operate a business. During the height of lockdown, Noble pivoted entirely online while our stores were mandated closed. My dad would drive our delivery truck. He's here somewhere. Nobody wants me trying to parallel park a truck in the city. And so he would drive, and I would run inside closed stores with gloves on and a mask and pull items to fulfill online orders. I had many sleepless nights and one panic attack I can remember. I was terribly afraid that I had exposed my elderly father to COVID and risked his life. I was worried about my business. I was worried about my staff. Frankly, I was worried about the world. Then we started to turn a corner. Lockdowns lifted and we reopened. But then a new challenge reared its ugly head: supply chain shortages. I swear I had never heard the word supply chain outside of industry conversations, and then suddenly it was front page news all day, every day. As a retailer, I can only sell what we have, and so our revenue took a real big hit. I knew that to weather this storm, we needed capital. So in December 2020, I applied for an LMI storefront loan through New York City Small Business Services. I was approved and deployed this capital immediately within all of our operations. We retained and hired employees, we sourced additional vendors, and we even expanded into our own branded merchandise. Access to affordable and flexible capital is a lifeline all small businesses need, especially in this COVID-19 inflationary and possibly recessionary environment. Small businesses are critical to the health of our communities, our borough, and our city. Over 90% of registered businesses in New York are small businesses, and we employ more than 2 million New Yorkers. So I am thrilled to see leaders put their money where their mouth is. The Opportunity Fund is the largest ever public-private loan fund for small businesses in the city's history. It will help as many as 15,000 new and existing small businesses source financing with a particular emphasis on minority, immigrant, and women-owned businesses, which represent more than 40% of the businesses registered in the city. I myself am very excited to apply. Moreover, the fact that CDFIs will work closely with businesses to ensure they have fair and adequate access, as well as continued business support through the Department of Small Business Services, is really invaluable and very different than your traditional loan product. Small business owners are optimists by nature. We have to be to brave it all and risk it all for our American dream. We also are a resilient bunch, but we need continued support and prioritization. I hope today heralds more dialogue and coordination between our political leaders, regulatory agencies, financial institutions, and business owners to make this city an amazing place to achieve our dreams. So thank you everyone for recognizing the value of a vibrant small business community. And thank you to all the amazing small business owners that help keep us going every day.
Thank you, Christine. She did a better job than I did explaining about all the fund benefits. Thank you. We'd like to now bring up Councilmember Julie Menon, Chair of the Small Business Committee in the City Council, who's been a champion every day, serving in her role as Chair of the Small Business Committee. And so it's really an honor. Julie Menon.
Well, thank you so much, Commissioner. And I really want to thank the mayor, the commissioner, and the deputy mayor for today's announcement. And I also want to thank my colleague, Councilmember Pierina Sanchez, whose district that we are in. So I'm a former small business owner. About 20 years ago, I owned a restaurant and catering company called Vine. My business was destroyed on 9/11. And I know firsthand how important access to capital is. As I speak to thousands of small businesses, and I have over the course of the last 20 years, the number one issue they say time and time again is they cannot access capital. They cannot get a loan. And without getting that capital, as you heard so persuasively, you can't grow your business. So the announcement today is going to be a game changer for our city's struggling small businesses. They're struggling post-COVID. They need to be able to expand. It is a lifeline for them. So I really want to thank the mayor and the commissioner for this important announcement today. Thank you.
And finally, we'd like to bring up the council member who represents this district, Pierina Sanchez.
Good morning. I just want to thank the mayor. I want to thank Commissioner Kim and all of our CDFIs, our financial institutions, for investing in us, for investing in the Bronx. I have a special gratitude for CDFI institutions because during the pandemic, when I was a candidate for city council, I went door to door to our small businesses and I knocked and I actually sat and filled out the storefront LMI application. And that is really what I want to drive home this morning. I represent this neighborhood, Kingsbridge, Fordham, University Heights, and the barriers to capital are so tremendous that we have to make sure that we are looking and being creative about the ways and the accessibility and the eligibility for these grants, for this loan. And in particular, we have today the Kingsbridge Road Merchant Association President Christian, who is just down the street. He owns Blue Chews, and it's spelled CHUS, shoes, Blue Chews. And he is emblematic of what I think we need to make sure happens with these funds, right? We have to make sure the access is open to our immigrants, to our smallest businesses, even street vendors who are hoping to gain a storefront. So I just want to say thank you, Mayor. It's not lost upon me that we're across the street from the Kingsbridge Armory, and I believe that this today represents just one step of the many investments that your administration is making in us. Thank you.
Thank you, council member, and thank you to all our speakers. Before we conclude, I just want to make it very, very clear to all the small business owners out there about our message today. The New York City Small Business Opportunity Fund is here and open to you all to get that extra help you need for your business with loans up to $250,000 at a 4% fixed interest rate. That's unbeatable in this economy. Regardless of your credit score, there's no minimum credit score, or years in business, whether you're a freelancer or employ several workers, if you need a boost to hire more people, invest in your equipment, grow your operations, or even pay down existing high interest debt, that's what this money can be used for. So please reach out, call our SBS hotline at 888-SBS, the number 4 NYC, or visit our website at sbsopportunityfund.nyc to get started. Thank you again, and now we'll take some questions.
Yeah. So was it just the funding breakdown here? Was it like 50 million from Goldman, 25 from the city, or can you explain like where the money's coming from?
Yes, it's $50 million, approximately $50 million from Goldman Sachs and $25 million from the city funds.
Any other on topics?
Great. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
all.
So I wanted to just show you the Small Business Services website. I will put the link in. New York City Small Business Services, they are the one announcing this with the mayor. And here you will be able to read more about this fund. Also, the application is there for the New York City Small Business Opportunity Fund. You can definitely see the application there, and get some direction on how to apply. There are resources out there in order to help. They First question they ask is, how much do you want to borrow? And you can also download the application to actually see what is going to be required of the small business. Remember, they said it is to start, grow, or expand the business in New York City. And here is the complete application, which you can see online. I will put the link. If you like the information, you want some more, please share, like, and subscribe. Peace.